Even though we're using an electronic medical record, we still have documents that we need to handle, paper, cards, different things that we need to attach to the patient's chart. And so this video will tell you a little bit about some of the things that we scan into patient's chart. The first thing that we usually do is we scan in their insurance card. So you can see here we've entered in information about our test patient, and down here we have insurance. And if you click on this Add button next to Attachments under Insurance, this window pops up. And you can see it's already defaulted to the document type. If you leave the date blank, it'll automatically click on today's date. You select After Hours Inc. You can name the document. Okay, I can't put a period in there, apparently. And then you're going to click on Scan, and the front desk scanner will kick in and allow you to scan in the patient's insurance card. I'm going to go ahead and cancel out of this. Other documents that we might scan in, if we go over here to the Other tab, here's some patient attachments. We can upload any kind of relevant attachments. When we're going in here to selecting the document types and subtypes, when you go under subtypes, you want to be sure that you're picking custom. And you can see in this list there's not a custom tab, which is fine. You can choose the global ones. But there are some other forms that we'll talk about later on where it's important to pick custom document types. Now, if there are clinical documents or other papers that we want to associate with this particular patient, there's a couple of ways to go about it, and I'll show you one way, and your site supervisor may have other ways to do it. It's not so important the method that you use as it is to be sure you're consistent every time that you're scanning in documents for a patient. So we have our test patient up here, and we want to click on Medical Record, which is going to open up their chart. Now you can come up here and click on this paperclip, and that opens up the document management. And so you can see here that there's a document type of clinical, and here we have our custom document types. So let's say that we were wanting to scan in the discharge summary, the instructions that the provider has filled out. So you would click on that, select After Hours as the group, and then you're going to click Scan. Make sure your paper's in the scanner, and when that's done you click Add Document and it'll show up on their list. One thing that it's very important to know is that anything that a patient signs, anything they put a signature on, we want to be sure that we're scanning it into their chart. It just protects us legally. It makes sure that we have a complete record, and it assures that we'll be able to retrieve information later on if we need to. When we scan things in, such as prescriptions, we still want to enter it in to the prescription area of CareTracker, but also we want to be sure that we're scanning in the actual paper prescription if the provider has done that. You'll see in here that there's a lot of different things that we are going to scan in. And sometimes whenever we scan in handwritten documents, they will go into the appropriate section of the chart. So for example, this order for radiology or lab, once that is scanned in, you can see here it's going to go to the orders section of the chart. Anything that's scanned in for a patient goes on their documents list, but it sometimes also goes into the appropriate section of the chart. There are lots of documents and checklists for you to figure out how to scan things in and how to categorize them correctly. Be sure to ask your site supervisor about this.